Okay, my name is Sanai, and today I'm going to show you how to make a dice simulator using Python. Okay, so first, what we're going to need is sys, time, random, and pygame. As remember last time, we used these three, we used sys and pygame. But as you know, these three are pre-installed, but Pygame isn't pre-installed. So what you're gonna need to do is open up your terminal. Yeah, and then you're gonna type in pip install Pygame. Now this is gonna install it for only Python 2. So if you want to use Python 3, you're gonna do pip install Pygame, but instead of pip, you're going to type pip3. And now what that's going to do is install it into Python 3. So once you have it installed, you're going to close your terminal, and then let's come back here. So first what we're going to do is set our variables for our window and like our dice stuff. So first we're going to create the window size, which we're setting as 256 pixels by 256 pixels. We're only going to set one because it's going to be a square, so we don't need two variables. And here, so the next thing we're going to create is this. This basically sets the size for our circles, for like our circle dots on the die. So once you do that, that's that. And then next, m equal to int size 2, that is going to set that's also going to help set the size for the circles. And the same thing here, that's going to help us set the size for our circles again. But this time it's going to add more circles. And then this basically corresponds with these. Next, we're going to set the rolling amount. So what this variable does is basically sets how many rolls the dice moves, so how many times it spins. So we've set that at 12. You can change that to whatever you want. And then die color basically sets the color for the dice. Here we're going to use pygame.color to set the color to gray 12, just like in our previous video. We had set it as gray 12. It looks really clean. The next thing we're going to set is the spot color, which is basically the round, the dots on the die color, the die. That's basically the spots. Again, we're setting that at light gray, which is 200, 200, 200. So just like that, now we're going to start with the setting up the main window. Here we use a variable d to set up the display. Here, as you can see, we have size comma size, and if you remember, size was 256 pixels. And then here we're going to fill the thing as d.fill, since this variable is called d, and we're going to set this as die call. Remember here, die color. So that's the variable, and that variable is gray 12. Next, we're going to set the caption for the display as dice simulator, because it is a dice simulator. And then we're going to set up a while loop. We're going to use this for now. And here, n is equal to random.randint. This is basically using the randomization import that we made to randomization the numbers from 1 to 6. That way, like a die, there are 6 faces, so 1 to 6, for that reason. The next thing we're going to do is then we're gonna refill it back to the same color. So reset it. So if there was anything, it would go back to this. And then we're gonna do another for event in pygame event.get. What this does is basically exits if the X button is pressed. So So, like I said, like in the last one, pygame.quit basically talks about the X button at the top. If you press that, it exits. And then sys.exit, that's why we have sys here, to do that along with pygame. Now, we're gonna basically, here we only made the variables and we only set the color for the thing, for the background, but now we're gonna set the color for the circles. So now let's start pygame. We're gonna set if n is so n, if you remember, is randomization of 1 out of 6. If n is equal to 1, that means it's gonna draw us a circle, one circle, and these two here, if you remember, basically what these do is showing which position in the square it's going to put it. So that we have here M and LB RT. Yeah. And so we create one dot if n are equal to 2 or n equal to 3 or n equal to 4 or n equal to 5 or n equal to 6. We have again create this. And then the same thing continues until if n equals to 6. And then again, we have pygame.display.flip, and that basically flips it, otherwise it's going to be upside down. And then instead of using clock, here we use time.sleep to keep the frames per second. So now that you know how this code works, let's run it. And as you can see, the dice simulator works. It shows us the thing and then it stops and exits. Let's try that again. We'll go to script and then run script. And then, let's see. Yeah, so it works. And so that's Dice Simulator. I'm Sanai.